Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to Kochi
Good afternoon.
Biennale. What have been your impressions after your fairly detailed tour of the Biennale?
I see this as a kind of, I've been at the first Biennale too, and the second Biennale impresses me all the more. And right from the beginning, I was with the Biennale idea, and I have always thought, or I expected it to be, and it has turned out to be a turning point as far as the Kerala society is concerned, the culture and civilization of Kerala is concerned, the modernity of Kerala is concerned. I think it's a turning point. But coming to the second Biennale, I would say that now it becomes a landmark or a milestone in the Indian context also, because there is nothing like this, no expo like this in the Indian situation, art situation today. And though Kochi is right at the southern end of the subcontinent, I think messages of works of art that are crossing the frontiers, crossing into the future, exploring all kinds of possibilities, which I'm not an expert on art, but things that I have never expected or imagined using technology. All these things are here now. Beyond the brush and the paint and other things, this Biennale and the previous Biennale too, this Biennale especially has taken the entire idea of art forward, gathering material from all over the world. And I think that's very important. I am really proud that two young men, Bose and Riaz and their team has achieved this against all odds, because they had tremendous opposition from the traditionalists and religious fundamentalists and the obscurantists and the anti-modern crowd, and even the political parties, very lumpen political parties. They all opposed it. Even the media had opposed it, but they managed to climb over all that, overcome that, and the second edition is a reality today. It is very important. Very important for Kerala and very important for India.
So you spoke about change.
Yeah.
What would be, to your mind, the aesthetics of that transformative change?
Aesthetics of
that transformative change that you've spoken about.
You see, this aesthetics is something that we cannot define, but it's an aesthetics that is going to cut across all the rubbish, all the intellectual and religious and casteist and other rubbish. Even in the and in the realm of art, there has been, especially in Kerala, revivalism has been reigning supreme. That you recreate, something from the past, and then suddenly it becomes glorious. That sort of a highly traditional. In fact, some of the artist groups in Kerala have been, fighting Biennale tooth and nail, because they thought this is going against the kind of revivalism they were creating. So this is an aesthetics of change and aesthetics of, modernity keeps evolving. So modernity of 2000 is not the modernity of 2014. So this is modernity now gathered from all over the place, and the aesthetics of people we can't, we have never heard of, from Vietnam to Africa to Latin America to all kinds of places. New aesthetics is coming forward, which is not definable in Indian terms or Kerala terms, but which is perceivable and which leaves a mark in your, I see lots of, housewives and children and, families and people from very conservative Muslim families, wearing parda and all. They are all here looking at this. So this is something, and I don't think they will just go home and forget all about it. It will remain with them. So this change in aesthetics, which is a revolutionary change, which is something that Kerala people haven't yet experienced, that is opening up. 2 years from now again, I hope it will open up, and again it will create a sensibility change. That's what I'm imagining in artists and in ordinary people.
So you notice a lot of technological interventions at this Biennale. There have been various schools of view as to the relevance of technology in art. What do you mind is technology pushing the frontiers of art today?
I think the technology is helping people to achieve results, artistic results, which otherwise you wouldn't be able to do with your two hands and whatever other materials we used to use. So illusions are being you are breaking the barriers of viewing and listening. And some of the things I see here, I saw here today, they have broken those barriers only through technology, which otherwise wouldn't have been possible. So it is not as if then everybody else can, I can't use the same technology, or I wouldn't even know how to use the technology to create that kind of an impact. But what they have done as a standalone kind of piece in some of these things where technology creates extraordinary illusions and takes you beyond the normal means of perception into another world. That will stay with me. It will remain with me when, as an artist, I take up another project. As a writer, it will remain with me. It basically in a very substantive fashion alters the capability of my brain to understand a new kind of recognition, to arrive at a new kind of recognition. So I think what technology does is to take you further into a realm of understanding and cognitive ability, which I am sure once the brain gets into that kind of a mode, it doesn't. I don't think the brain will easily forget that. So I am altered by seeing these remarkable, beautiful things that technology has created here. And so I am altered forever. So I am sure the people who saw this, they are all changed. So I think it is quite amazing. Though it may not be able to, people may not be able to reproduce all these things again and again. But next year it will be something else, which is beyond this.
So to turn around the question, what do you think is Kochi doing to the Biennale?
Kochi is an amazing place. Actually, even people like me who have lived all their lives in Kerala, I hadn't. I wouldn't talk about others, but I hadn't explored Kochi in a proper way, except coming and going on some urgent business, attending a funeral or something, and then you run away from here. So you go away, and but I now find that as this time when I came and relaxed and looked around Kochi and walked around, Kochi has an ambience of history of all kinds, history of religions and cultures from all over the world, history of, it's a colonial history, it is a history of the deprived classes, the fisher folk and others who have suffered, who were in deep poverty. It is a history of mixed history of all kinds of people in an island. It's an island formation, and that makes it all the more poignant. And they were treated, the Kochi people also had a lot of blood mixture. So they were treated as mixed breeds, and the mainlanders, I'm not blaming anybody, it is in those days. The mainlanders always looked down upon the people, but this is an ambience which is, I don't know whether maybe parts of Goa may have something like this, but not so. It's a center of trade. It's been a center of trade for I think something like 2000 years. So all that is lingering here. And today I was walking around early morning, amazingly beautiful houses and old compounds, and so this history, it's filled with history. I haven't seen any large locale like Kochi involving large populations where history sort of fills the place. So in that sense, Biennale is in the right place. It is this may not be a glamorous place, but it is a place full of feeling. So I think the Aspinwall compound and other places which are hundreds of years old, plus the history of Kochi itself, sets the right background for Kochi as a fantastic spot for the Biennale.
It's the last question. From a cultural politics perspective, Do you think the Biennale is significant to the modernizing project that Kerala, probably in particular, needs, or India at large needs?
I think so. I haven't seen any other project like this. See, you have art exhibitions in Bombay and all, which are quite important, and you have the literary festivals now, which have become almost every little town has a festival. Starting from the Jaipur example, which is all there, and they do their own. Mind you, I know what the literary festivals have done for literature in India. It has helped make literature a talking point. It has helped make books sell more. It has taken authors who would be otherwise not very accessible to the average reader or this thing. It has taken them closer, put them in front of their readers. So that way, the literary festivals have done fantastic work. How I may criticize its artificialities and its performance nature, etc., etc. But this is a much more, the roots run deeper in a thing like the Biennale. And here, artists and others, they come and, you are more deep. It's not like taking a bite at a, entering into a seminar and sitting in a panel and saying something and leaving it at that. Here we work so hard. It's here for nearly 3 months, and I know people who have been returning to this place to see it again. And I know today I met elderly people who are coming back a second time just to sort of take it in again. So to that extent, it's a rejuvenating project. And in Kerala there's a tremendous slump in understanding modernity. Progressiveness is there in terms of money, of the employment of money into buildings and all the tourism projects and all. But see, at least for the last 25 to 30 years, politics and society in Kerala has been driven back by a lot of forces into antiquarian, obscurantist, fundamentalist roots. Almost every form of superstition and very idiotic kind of worship of, and even politics. The politics has deteriorated so much. You can't even recognize it as politics anymore. It's such a it dirties the whole place. So in a situation like this becomes significant because this could be the starting point. I am not saying that this can, an art movement can transform a whole society, but the very fact that it found a place here after the attacks made on it by all these people I mentioned, and it has survived that, and it has come back, and there's a chance that it will stay here. That I think is a hope for the Kerala society, which is at the moment in a very, very hopeless kind of situation. It is. I think it's in a dire situation in terms of political and religious and casteist obscurantism. Yesterday we were saying, caste and religion has become central to any discourse in Kerala. It has become that. Whether it is whichever religion it is, whether it is Hinduism, Christianity or Islam. So and the political parties have become simply rotten organizations which rule over the people. You elect them and suddenly they become your masters. See, unashamed, including the revolutionaries, the communists and everybody. So that is another story. What I am saying is, in a situation like this, here is something that is opening up a new world. So I think it holds a lot of promise for Kerala, and as more and more people come from other parts of India and take a look at it, and I am sure somebody is going to replicate it somewhere else, which is good. There's nothing wrong in that, but I think there's great hope in this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Sreenivas.